Youth in government isn't just about democracy being learned by each generation anymore. It's about putting the values of democracy and servant leadership into action right now. Not after graduation, but right now. Youth in government is about being a part of something bigger than yourself. Take advantage of all the opportunities that it offers you. Don't limit the impact that this program can have on you, your community, and your chapter. We have a voice, and it is absolutely imperative that we use it. We can make a difference, and it is our responsibility to do so. We determine the direction that our world is going in.
The Constitution and government of the United States and the state of Florida. So help me God. Congratulations. You may be seated.
First Coast delegation seat number 5, I rise to interrogate the officer.
So they will not leave the state of Florida for a $500,000 fine. All right. Yield my time to the chair.
Seat number 48, I rise to speak in favor of this bill.
Do you accept the yield time?
That's 70 time.
Yes. 70, I wish to seek in opposition of this bill. Do you accept yield time? Yes. Yield time.
YIG is about empowering us to make a difference, today and every day.
All right.
It's such a great experience, and it's truly a blessing to be able to come to the Capitol and to meet with our senators and our representatives. Very few high school students can say that they've done that, and so we are so lucky to be able to come and have this experience and debate legislation that we've written, you know, in the floor of the House or in the floor of the Senate. So it's an incredible experience, and we're all so lucky.
Well, you guys are also the exception because as a former high school teacher, I know it is very difficult sometimes to convince your peers that, gee, this really is important and it can affect you and you really should care and get involved. How do you guys do something like that?
Well, I think a good way to convince our peers that these things are important is by participating in programs such as Youth in Government, because it kind of shows that although the government seems so distant and so far off and kind of intangible to many high school students, programs such as Youth in Government really show that we can be active and we can participate. And so I think it's an example that we lead by.
Welcome to the First Baptist Church of Tallahassee and the opening ceremony of the 56th Annual State Assembly. Welcome to your 56th Annual State Assembly. This program was founded 77 years ago by a man with a vision, Clement A. Durand, who believed that democracy must be learned by each generation. Many generations later, we are still learning. But the lessons that you will learn this weekend go far beyond those degrees. Youth in Government has formed a community of confident young leaders who not only think critically about the issues within their communities, but also have the necessary tools to speak out and take action. Our goal this weekend is not to model public officials, but to be a model for our generation. We have a right and a duty to put the principles of democracy into practice right now. Our government will not know how to represent legislation we pass here is not actual law, but it can be. We are not real legislators, cabinet members, lobbyists, journalists, or attorneys now, but we will be. We are future leaders, but it is up to us to make our experiences come alive, to make this program real. I know that if you let it, this weekend will inspire you to be the best version of yourself. There truly is a place for every student in youth and government. Find your place. Make your mark on this program. Your program. What will your legacy be? Please join me in welcoming your fellow delegate, Peyton Jones, from Florida's First Coast delegation for this evening's devotion.
For those of you who are experiencing your first state assembly, I know exactly how you feel right now. Just last year, I had all the same thoughts, worries, and questions. Who is everyone? What do the POs do? And what is this CONA thing everyone talks about? Well, I can promise you that by closing ceremonies, your questions will be answered, your worries will be gone, and you will fall more in love with youth and government than you ever thought possible. For those of you who are returning delegates, I'm right there with you. The excitement of previous years is back again. Whether you're looking forward to seeing friends from other delegations, or whether you're looking forward to presenting a bill you've put endless effort into, we're all looking forward to something. Our expectations are high as ever, and this year's State Assembly promises not to let us down.
We've got a lot of things going on in our country. We need to have your generation ready and prepared to be involved.
It is with great honor that we welcome Representative Seth McKeel to deliver tonight's keynote address and administer the oath of office to our Assembly.
Public service, because the message that I'm going to try to leave you with tonight, very briefly, is that what I do and what I'm going to describe to you in a few minutes, despite what you may read in the press, despite what you see on Twitter or read on the blogs, is an honorable profession. Public service is an honorable thing to do. In fact, our democracy depends on it. So why should we support programs like this? Why would you come up here and spend your weekend? Why would you do that? Because we depend on you to do it. Because the democracy ceases to exist when people just continue their participation in our democracy. So as much as the media or the blogosphere or the social networks of the day continue to berate what it is that we do there, but at the end of the day, understand that the progression of our democracy, this incredible experience that we call freedom, depends on its lifeblood, is the involvement of everyday citizens in the process, passionately, because what you're going to do over the next couple of days matters. It is my opinion that hopefully there's not one out of this room, hopefully there are 30 or 40 or 50 or several hundred out of this room who will ultimately make their way through the front door of a city hall building, or the front door of a county administration building, or the front door of the Florida House, or the front door of the Florida Senate, or heck, even right down the street to the governor's mansion, out of this group here tonight, because my message to you is that our democracy depends upon it. Our democracy needs you, and I thank you for the investment that you are making in learning how it works. You can get in a room with a group of people, and you can convince the majority of the folks that your idea is the right way to move the state, or the country, or the community, or the church, or the city forward. That's leadership. And that's what you're learning how to do, and I thank you very much for the investment that you're making. Please take it seriously, and because there will be a time in your life, like there is in mine today, when you look back at this experience and say, thank goodness I invested the amount of time that I did to learn what I learned and learn how to move my state or my community forward. So God bless you, and thanks so much for having me. It is my honor now to officially administer the oath of office to your officers. So, Madam Governor, Madam Lieutenant Governor, please rise and raise your right hand and repeat after me. Ready? I do solemnly swear that as a delegate of the 56th State Assembly, I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and the State of Florida. So help me God. Congratulations to you.
We need for you to know, delegates and alternates, that this is an awesome responsibility and our expectations are very high.
This joint session of the 56th Florida YMCA Youth in Government State Assembly is called to an order. It is my distinct honor to introduce you to your 2013 presiding officers.
Author, you recognized for a motion.
I move that House Bill number 2059 be read for the second time by title only. In 2013, we're still seeing this wage gap, and it's still persisting. My bill will eliminate this, so women over the course of 40 years will not be losing $400,000 in unequal pay. I urge you to pass this bill today. And I yield my time and request.
The author has yielded. A minute 40 seconds to her closing. Will the clerk please take note of this? Are there any speakers wishing to speak in favor of this bill? Jones.
Seat number 107, I speak in favor of this bill, and I
You have time.
I truly applaud the intent of this bill. Women's rights have come such a long way, but there is still a way to go. This bill goes about closing the gap in a great way. It gives women a look at what their male counterparts are making while protecting the rights of both parties. I encourage you to vote this bill well. And with that, I yield the remainder of my time to elect the Speaker.
Are there any like-minded speakers on the floor? Cosme.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative Cosme, first consideration, seat number 39, I rise to speak in favor of this bill, and I accept the time.
You have time.
Equality. That is a principle our nation gravitates around, but does not necessarily live by. This bill is a crucial step to getting closer to fulfilling this idea of equality. Women should be given the same amount of pay as men. Not only will it positively impact our people, but it will positively impact our country, and I yield my time to elect my speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Delegates, I would like to make sure that everyone understands the extent of this current issue. If you may or may not know, this public records the annual salary for the public school teachers of St. Johns County. From this, it can be blatantly seen that female teachers with the same exact job title as their male coworkers make about $1,000 less a year. Why is it that our female teachers who put the same amount of time and hours shaping and enriching a student's mind on a daily basis than any man are being paid less? It's 2013, and it's time to start acting that way. With that, I yield my time to elect my speaker.
It is not okay for the government to tell its citizens that murder is wrong and then as punishment use the death penalty. Now, I'm not saying that they should not be punished, but I believe that it is more satisfying to know that the murderer is locked up behind bars thinking constantly day after day about the murder he has committed rather than escaping by death.
39, I rise to speak in favor of this bill and accept the yield of time.
Time's yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bill, it could very well ruin a perfect life. Somebody could be innocent and we condemn them to death. There are cases that people die innocently, even if they didn't do the crime. And I yield my time to elect my speaker.
You have to remember that we live in a free nation and people can have the choice to die or not. And if there's
Florida needs to step up to the plate and join the other 19 states in repealing this outdated 1977 across-the-board ban on homosexual adoption. Parents, think of the extended family, the aunts, the uncles, the grandmothers, the grandfathers. It is not just limited to the nuclear family. And it's not a matter of, I don't understand why we would choose no parents over parents who really do want to raise children. Why putting them in the foster care system with no parents would be a better option.
Author, you're recognized for a motion.
I move that Senate Bill number 2116 do now pass.
Author, I recognize you for your 3-minute opening statement.
Thank you, Sir Chair. Thousands of children in the United States go unadopted each year. In 2008, 135,813 children were adopted in the United States in all types of adoption, including foster care adoptions, inter-country adoptions, and private baby adoptions. These findings demonstrate that non-heterosexual individuals and couples are important resources for children who linger in foster care. At this time, Florida is the only state with an across-the-board ban on homosexuals adopting children. Banning lesbians and gay adults from adopting will reduce the number of permanent and nurturing homes for children in Florida, and is only hurting children currently in the foster care system by putting another limit on their options. This bill will strike the clause from the Florida statute that states homosexuals may not adopt in the state of Florida, regardless of their qualifications under the other requirements for adoption. And with that, I yield the remainder of my time to my closing. The family type that is best for children is one that has a responsible, committed, stable parenting. Sexual orientation should not be the main factor when considering competent parents.
Florida needs to step up to the plate and join the other 49 states in repealing its outdated 1977 across-the-board ban on homosexual adoption. Right now, there are 80,000 children that are not adopted every single year in the state of Florida, and some of these children are abused. Why should they be restricted the right to have a place to call home? And why shouldn't gay parents be given the same rights? Gays can have children through the use of in vitro fertilization and through surrogates, but they cannot adopt still to this day. And with that, I yield the remainder of my time to the chair. I move that Senate Bill 2116 be read for a third time by its title only and be placed on final passage.
It is now moved that Senate Bill number 2116 do now pass. Are there any objections? Hearing none, we are ready to vote. With the sergeant of arms, please seal the chamber. All those in favor, please stand and say aye in all speaking voice. All those opposed, please stand and say nay. Just in the opinion of the chair that the ayes have it. It is now passed. Senate Bill 2116.
To all delegates that presented their bills. Just making it to the cabinet is a huge accomplishment, and regardless of the decision on your bill, I hope that you're proud of the job you did, because we are. Bill number 2116, an act relating to the ability of homosexuals to adopt in the state of Florida by Hannah Schaefer, has been signed into law.